So it's that wonderful time of year again where you might be wondering, what can I buy for that guitarist person in my life that might be useful for them and might make a good gift? And that can sometimes be quite difficult, as most guitarists, at least ones I know, are usually so OCD about gear that they've already got pretty much everything they need. However, I find there's always a few things that I find incredibly useful that maybe some people don't have already, and these to me always kind of make the best gifts. So something that's productive, useful, and will come in handy at some point. So I'll start off with a banger, and it's this Ibanez Multitool. This has saved me on quite a few gigs, to be honest. As I play with Evertune guitars, and I don't necessarily have the Evertune key with me, this has a variety of Allen keys in there, for example, that you can use to set up, different guitars if you need to, or even change the tuning on an Evertune-based guitar. You've got stuff for the truss rod, which is really useful. And on the other side, you have two other Allen keys are on there, and a handy little ruler, which can be handy when, for example, measuring out the pickup height or distance to the strings, and then you can make those adjustments with the screwdrivers that are on there as well. And for number two, I decided to go with the Gruvgear fret wraps. I'll also link to the Ernie Ball fret wraps, which are basically the same things, which are made by Gruvgear. I'm not sure if Ernie Ball bought Gruvgear at some point or if there's some kind of deal going on, but they're essentially the same thing. And this is incredibly useful for muting the top part of the headstock so you don't get unwanted noise, for example, or ringing out. Sympathetic ringing is what it's called when playing certain style of riffs. Very common in kind of metal, but I find it very useful for other styles of music as well. And another bonus is that when you're doing recording, you can put it further up the neck so you're muting all the strings when you're playing lead passages, for example, to make things extremely clean. For number three, it might look like a completely boring cable, and indeed it is, but it's incredibly useful. So it's a 9-volt USB to DC adapter. I've been using this, for example, with the Nano Cortex, which I've shown in a video. And the way I've been using something like this is that, instead of trying to find an adapter, plugging it into power a pedal, I've been using, say, a power bank. Any old USB power bank will do. I plug into that there, and then using this, I can just power all sorts of pedals up to 1 amp. For example, I'll take this, which leads me nicely into my next suggestion, which is a Tonex ONE. So I just plug this in there, and it turns on. And now I can just carry this around and place it on the desk, connect to that, and play through that at my leisure, per se. At number four, I'd put a clip-on tuner of some description. I'm using this, which is an older Boss TU01. I think there's a newer model out, and I'll link all these things in the description below. So I can put this on any guitar on the headstock and then tune up. And this is especially useful if you want to do a quick tune-up, either before a gig, for example, of a guitar before going on stage so you don't lose any time, or have something on hand that you can quickly tune up a guitar without either having to find a plug-in tuner that will need either batteries or power, or another tuner that you'll either be using as a plug-in or something else. Now for the next gift, this isn't perhaps practical, but for me it's been one of the most, enjoyable purchases of this year, and it's the IK Multimedia Tonex ONE. I've been using this essentially as a backup, and I haven't had to use it just yet, luckily. But if I need to, I know this will give me the same tone pretty much as I'm used to using through my FM3. Now the thing with this is that along with the Tonex ONE, so the hardware, you'll also get Tonex SE, which will give you access to all sorts of different captures and things like that through ToneNet. And you can also buy captures if you want, or more interestingly, you can also make your own, either of different plugins that you might own. I've got a video for that on my channel, or using my next gift idea, use something like this, which is a Palmer TRAVE reamp box, which you can use to either reamp and send out to, say, an amp to do different captures, Or something else which is quite cool, which is sending out into different pedals that you might own and then going back into your audio interface for either production or adding extra effects and things like that. And something I feel that is kind of underrated or underused are capos, which can be really useful depending on certain things that you might have to play. Now, the thing with something like this, so a capo, it's not just for acoustic or singer-songwriter style applications or math rock, but it can be really useful as well for some applications in metal. I'll give an example. So with the band, I play in drop B, and that's using Evertune guitars. So it's not something that you can easily change the tuning on the fly. You've got it dialed in and set to a certain tuning. And for me to take something like that from, say, drop B to drop C, I could just use a capo, put it on the first fret, and it would do the job in a pinch. And something I found really useful are these small foldable K&M guitar stands. So as you can see, they're really quite small, but then it folds out into this guitar stand, which is really robust. And you can see, let's point to it properly. You can see my Ibanez in the back is sitting on one at the moment. Now, the cool thing is because it can fold down to this small size, this is something that can easily fit into a gig bag depending on which one you have. So if you're playing a gig and you've just done sound check and you're set to play first, you can then leave this on stage and have an easy guitar stand that you can take with you everywhere. Now, for the next idea, it would be a premium gig bag. So this is something that I've been using for the last year and a half, maybe a bit more, and it's a Gator PG-E premium electric guitar bag. It's a long name, kind of Ibanez style, but it's been super sturdy, and because of all the extra space that I have, I've been able to pack all sorts of other things in there. So if you want, it has space for a laptop in a pouch that's in front, but I've been using it not only to store the guitar, but also to pack in my in-ears. I've got like the Ibanez Multitool, maintenance stuff, I've got extra strings, and then I've also got a pack or a small Pelican style case where I've also got my wireless pack for my in-ears and also the wireless pack for my Shure wireless unit. So all these things I've linked down in the description. These are affiliate links. They won't cost you any more than the normal price. However, a small amount of that sale will come back to me in form of commission. So thank you very much if you use those links. So buying gifts for someone else can sometimes be quite complicated. You can either agree not to buy each other anything at all, which kind of works to some extent, or in my case, I usually always try and find gifts that are productive and useful in some way or another. In any case, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, please drop a like and subscribe as it really helps me out. Thanks.